Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. And the movie I want to take a look at right now is The Card Counter. Now, this one comes from Focus Features. It is written and directed by Paul Schrader, and this one stars Oscar Isaac as an ex-military interrogator that is turned gambler. And so the job that he had before gambling is kind of creeping up behind him, and his past is haunting him. So it's definitely a movie about redemption. So, going into this, I remember seeing one teaser trailer for it, and I think that was about it. But, I'm doing a lot of catch up from 2021, films that I've missed, and maybe films that are going to be considered for awards later down the road. And I know Focus Features wants to push this film because, Paul Schrader's film before this, First Reformed, it was nominated for screenplay, I believe. So I think Focus Features really was just like, hey, maybe he can do it again. Maybe we can push this and get it some recognition and get some more eyeballs on it. So I appreciate that. That's why I figured let's just review this one. Maybe there is some awards worthy buzz there. And so I was excited for it. I liked First Reform quite a bit. It made my list that year. So here we go with The Card Counter. It's okay. I think this is definitely the weaker one out of the two. It's definitely got some interesting things in it. I just feel like a generalization of my thoughts on it is that this movie is running at 50-50 the entire time, where I feel like there's a lot of interesting ideas at play and a lot of interesting character arcs and moments. But I feel like it's scratching the surface, and it doesn't really explore anything deeper than that, and it doesn't really have anything more to say than just like surface level, like, hey, torture and war is bad. Yes, we get that. That's about it. And so, maybe there is nothing more to it, but I felt like it was a struggle because what I was watching was something that was interesting, but I didn't feel like it went far enough when I think it should have. Because Paul Schrader's he's not a shy person. He will deliver very abrasive filmmaking in any way, shape, and form. And that's what I kind of like about him. He kind of does his own thing. He does not care what people think. But for this one, it felt kind of tame. And there's some good stuff about it, and there's just stuff that I didn't really care for. So I'm going to try my best to break it down. So let's go. There's a lot to talk about. So Paul Schrader, what I like about his filmmaking style is that he's able to simplistically film things and make the characters feel grounded. Sometimes he uses different frames per second to kind of like strip away the glossiness and the high production value and just really kind of focus on the characters and what they're saying. He also uses different lenses to kind of like mix it up a little bit. But for the most part, he has this like simplistic approach where it feels like these characters are grounded. So you're not watching like big name actors in a situation. You're watching these characters and watching their personalities and their story just kind of unfold in front of you, and it makes you really kind of absorb their journey and like what they're going on. I like that quite a bit. Paul Schrader is also really good at mixing groundedness with surrealism. And what I mean by that is that he takes a very abstract approach to storytelling. Sometimes he'll do nonlinear editing to the story where everything is out of order. Sometimes he will disorient you with visual cues or audio cues to really kind of just throw you off of your senses. And then he'll use different cinematography tactics. For case in point, there's a nightmare kind of flashback sequence where it's all used in fisheye lens, and it's absolutely creepy. And it really kind of sets you into that kind of uncomfortableness that the character's going through. And so that was genius. So he's really great at mixing both of those, and he does that here, but I just feel like there wasn't enough. There is commentary in this film, just like it was with First Reform, and this one is commenting on torture in the military and how it is just an absolutely awful thing. That's all fine and dandy, but it doesn't really go anywhere beyond that. Yes, the character gets revenge on someone that he used to work with in the military, but I don't know. I guess I was expecting a little bit more oomph behind it. It just kind of like, once the ending happened, I was like, okay, sure. I mean, that's exactly where we thought we were going. I don't know. I guess I was just thinking they were going to do a little bit more with it. So there is commentary there. And also, I think another issue that I had with it was Oscar Isaac's character is so cold and so distant that it's hard to kind of connect to any of his motives or like what he wants to do, what he's thinking. It's just kind of all, I don't know. It just feels like it's kind of like in this limbo area and it's not really like progressing forward. And so you're kind of like, okay, like I kind of get why he's doing stuff, but also not really. So it's one of those things where it's kind of battling itself. And so I like the character. I think there's a lot of mystery behind it. I feel like he was so cold and so distant as someone that puts a lot of walls up. It was hard to kind of break through. And maybe that was the point. Who knows? Because Tiffany Haddish's character was the only one that could break through to him. And Ty Sheridan's character to some extent. But yeah, I feel like from a story and character approach, I feel like all the necessary parts were there, laid for the groundwork, and then just doesn't really do anything else with it. But, you know, I was still interested in the story, and I was hoping it would get better, but overall, I was just kind of like, just felt neutral about it. Performance-wise, Oscar Isaac he's great. He's always fun to watch. I like this kind of subtle approach that he had to this character and to this story. He hasn't done like one like this in a while, where like he feels like a ticking time bomb, where like you know that this is a man that is very good at what he does. What he's doing is illegal, but you are just kind of fascinated as to like how far he can go and how far he can push himself. And there are moments where like he slowly starts to crack emotionally, and I love that characters can like penetrate his character and get through to him on that level. And so there was a couple times where he kind of like showed that through his face, and like it was just really kind of subtle face acting, and I really appreciated that. Tiffany Haddish was fine. Honestly, I didn't mind the casting of her in it. I just felt like her performance was kind of bland. I don't know. It was really weird because like I was hoping like with Tiffany Haddish in a Paul Schrader film, she's able to like let loose and go crazy, and like I love that about Tiffany Haddish. She's like a loose cannon, but like she's really entertaining to watch. But for this one, it was just kind of like a bland performance. So I don't know. And there are at certain points, because there's kind of like a love thing going on between her and Oscar Isaac. I didn't really feel that chemistry. So I don't know if it was her performance, his performance, or combination of how their relationship was put together. I have no clue. But for me, she didn't really do anything for me. Ty Sheridan was also just fine. Willem Dafoe, also just fine. Not really much to them. I'm like, there's interesting moments kind of presented for them, but like, once again, just doesn't really do anything with it. So, I don't know. It is what it is. But yeah, Oscar Isaac is, as the lead, he is definitely the best. And yeah, that's about it. I mean, I kind of just went over my main issues. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I'm definitely not going to give up on Paul Schrader. I've always found him to be, he's very bizarre online, but a very interesting filmmaker nonetheless. And I will always back him in whatever project he wants to do next. But for me, this one just kind of fell a little flat, but also not the worst thing. And that's what I want to ask you guys. What did you think about this movie? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was okay? I see some people out there that kind of liked it, so I would like to know. So let me know down below what you think of the card counter, and that will do it for this review, guys. I'm Chase Lee, and tune in next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later.